Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Kano Tryharding Modern. We're going to be playing Mono Green Tron today. I got some comments that maybe I should swap up the sideboard. I got some comments that maybe I should be running more than 2 Force of Vigors. And hey, Sigma, how's it going? I don't disagree with that. I just think at the moment... So the problem right now that I have with modifying the sideboard in that way is I don't have enough stuff to swap out usually to bring in more stuff. So I'm just going to keep running it as it is at the moment. And I'll iterate on it eventually. But right now I'm enjoying this list. A couple of relics in the main. Actually, that is a great suggestion because I, the other day, was wondering about Grave Hate. Let me drop and get my tickets back. I do... So I can make this swap. I can put one O-Stone in the side and have a relic in the main deck and not in the sideboard. I'm doing okay, Speed Force Punch, but it is not my birthday. Thank you for tuning in, though. I do need to cut one other thing from the main, and it's probably going to be a Wurmcoil Engine. Maze Mine Tome is the thing I would probably wish for the least. Although it is incredibly good in this situation where you have Karn and Ugin on the battlefield, because then you just wish for it and play it for free. There are situations where it's good. I'm not knocking that card at all, so I hope nobody's offended by that, but I will make that swap. Albo, thank you for the suggestion. Now we will do a league. Are you going to let me have it so I can throw it? Or are you just going to keep taking it out of my hand? Silly boy. Alright. Hey, Speed Force Punch thinks you're a good boy. Are you on camera? Speed Force Punch thinks you're a good boy. No take, only throw. That's Porter's motto. Go ahead and drop. There's a prediction open if you want to bet channel points on whether or not I will be winning the next match. Sissio, welcome. How's it going? I've already lost points on a prediction. Oh, good. Drop. I can't remember if I've said this since I started recording or not, but I have started packing for the move, which was both stressful and relieving at the same time. I don't know how to describe that feeling, but it's stressful because it's like, yeah, this is not my permanent living situation, obviously, but it is relieving because it's like, man, I want to get out of here. Speed Force Punch, I will try not to let you down. How's everybody's Sunday? Everybody have a good Sunday? But, yeah, the packing for the move is what I did for a lot of this morning. And, of course, the other chores around the house that have been neglected throughout the week. Awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Sissy. I'm glad you had a very good Sunday. It's good. It's good. I got a ton of stuff done today. Which I've been meaning to do for a while and just haven't been able to. I've had days where it's like, you wake up, you're tired, you're like, I don't want to do chores today. I got a lot done today. And I'm kind of eager to play some Magic to just kind of, tune into something and get away from real life for a bit. So this is a mulligan. I'm not going to keep a one-lander with no Tron lands. I'm also not going to keep 3 of the same Tron land. Probably. So we're going to 5. Okay, we got 2/3 of Tron, we got a Sphere, we got a Stirrings. So this is fine. I'm gonna put back one of my Stirrings and a Sanctum of Ugin. I do want to keep the Ugin the Ineffable, just in case I need it to have a turn 3 Tron threat. Go get it. Alright, opponent is playing Shatterskull, the Hammer Pass, which is telling me this is either Belcher or Oops All spells. There is some possibility that this is the, M. Hayashi mono-red Hammer of Bogarden deck, but considering I'm not cute against M. Hayashi, probably not the case. So we draw another Urza's Mine. Let's Ancient Stirrings and try and find a tower. We do. So take the tower. Rest of the bottom, play the tower. But I think unless we draw Karn Great Creator, we're probably going to lose to Belcher or Storm. Does Moto have Archenemy and Plane Chase? Scryfall says they're in the system, but I've never seen anyone bring it up. I think they are. Yes, Archenemy and Plane Chase planes are in Moto. The only way to use them, of course, is to actually like you have to do a custom game and queue into like a freeform game. So opponent is recrossing the paths. Moto sounds. Yes, I have Moto sounds turned back on because I fixed the. Hopefully, I have fixed the multiple sounds overlapping, multiple overlapping card tapping noises, so that no one's eardrums should get blown out anymore. But I prefer having Moto sounds on because they help me keep track of the game a little bit better. The sound cues help me to play a little bit better. So we can look at opponent's deck now. It's always the same deck. This one's playing Pyromancer Ascension. Very funny, Sissia. Very funny. Yes, they used to have like 2-man queues for them, but those have since gone away. I have no idea how my opponent stacked their deck, but Ancient Stirrings, we're going to the bottom. Opponent, I believe, revealed Reforge the Soul. Okay, we draw Karn Liberated, which is actually a pretty big deal, because now I can play Power Plant, play Karn, nuke opponent's red mana, pass the turn. Can I interest you in playing some Enchantress? Probably not today. I do love me some Pillow Fort, and I will be playing a lot more jank decks in the future. But right now, I'm enjoying... I've been enjoying streaming Tron for some reason, which, I don't know, a lot of people would probably take offense to. Can we plus Karn? I think it might be safe to plus Karn. I'm going to start by cycling this Chromatic Star first, because I do have 8 mana post-cycle. Okay. So the idea was if I drew another Karn Liberated, I would just downtick and then play the other Karn and downtick, and we'd be great. Because of this, like I know I could have played Ugin the Ineffable and gotten a little more value out of that, but that would have taken me off of the other game plan. So we're going to go ahead and play Ugin. I don't think... Yeah, these are not colored while they're on the battlefield. Let's go ahead and uptick, see what we get. There's a Blast Zone. Cycle this for green immediately, see what we draw. Expedition map. Okay. So we can go get a Sanctum of Ugin. Now with this being the setup, we can uptick Karn. I'm just going to downtick. Because I can play Ugin, go get Ulamog, and that should be the game. I got you playing Tron, and you're so glad that I'm playing it more, even if you have spent so much more money on fancy Tron pieces. Oh, hey! Ulamog. Oh, hang on. I only need to tap for 8. But this should be the game. Alright. So versus Belcher, I think we need the forces. We don't have a lot in the sideboard that's good here. I need the borderless Ugin. Is there a borderless Ugin? Pithing Needle? I'm not the biggest fan of bringing in sideboard cards into the main deck. Generally, like, versus our opponent, if we're playing Karn, we're going to Wish and get Pithing Needle anyway. And Karn does help delay their combo, so I think I'm going to leave Pithing Needle in the side here. I will say that Wurmcoil Engine and Sundering Titan are not the greatest, and so those will be moving to the side. Ugin from M21, set number 279. There's no guarantee that if I stick Karn, I win. Because they do play lightning bolts and stuff to actually remove planeswalkers. Oh, there are full art Ugins, aren't there? 279 and 285. I don't even know if they're on Moto. This hand is not great. This hand is okay. I'm going to put away Oblivion Stone, and we're going to try doing the Expedition map plan first, so that I can keep Force of Vigor active. There is situations where your Belcher opponent will play out Belcher and then wait a turn to activate it, and that's when Force is going to matter. We draw Chromatic Star, so lead on Power Plant, play Expedition map, pass the turn. The Mythic Edition Ugin is 100% is. I have them on Moto. I mean, I don't mind it. I actually have been playing the deck enough and for some reason enjoying it. There's also an Ugin the Ineffable promo, but I don't think it's a full art. Okay, opponent plays a tapped green source after a tapped red source. They are going to force my map, pitching Manamorphose. That's actually fine. We draw Yavimaya, play Urza's Tower, play Chromatic Star. Now I could Ancient Stirrings. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think I'm actually just going to play out lands. Opponent plays Blood Moon. I mean, Blood Moon is fine. I have Chromatic Star and a basic forest in my hand. I don't think that full art is on Moto. The mythic one might be, but can you link it in chat or no? I actually don't know if the bot will allow you to link in chat or not. It might time you out. It's been a while since I've tweaked auto mod. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's cool. I'll see if I can get a hold of them, because I wouldn't mind having the... Alright, they just played out Charbelcher. Let's go ahead and force untap. We draw another tower. Let's go ahead and cycle Star for green. We get a relic. Play the relic. Cycle relic. We do get a mine. So I'm going to play out the other tower. And then pass. Couldn't I have just hardcast that on my turn? Well, yeah. Well, no, actually, I couldn't, because... I could have, yes, actually. I could have hardcast it on my turn. It's better to have done it on their turn, though. Because, like, the opportunity existed for me to top deck the last Tron piece. So opponent is casting Recross the Paths. We know what's in their deck, so I'm going to dismiss this. I want to see what card they reveal for the Clash. Because if it is Reforge the Soul, then we just Karn their red land and then they're done. What do you consider as the fanciest basic forest? I donate 4 copies just for your Tron deck. I actually prefer the basic forest I have right now, but I'm open to suggestions. If people think that there's art that is better. Rodeo-san, I don't know if I greeted you, but welcome, of course. Foil Lorwyn forests. I've never been a fan of foils on Moto, unfortunately. There's cool ways they could do it, but the program is so old, and it would require the use of shaders that may or may not exist. Opponent did reveal, we will put Karn on top. We untap, we draw Karn, we play an Urza's Mine, we play a Karn, and we nuke their red source, so they cannot Miracle Reforge the Soul unless they are holding Manamorphose as well. It does not appear... You don't have the 4K shaders? Well, I mean, like, Moto is a program that seems like it almost uses CPU-integrated graphics. It's so old. Alright, we won the match. We beat Belcher. Belcher is not an easy matchup for us. I think we did get a little lucky. But, good start. It's a good start. Should use the Rise of the Eldrazi Forests. They work well in Tron. Yeah, that's not a bad idea. Does it not use CPU graphics? I'm pretty sure my GPU doesn't fire up. It might. I actually don't know. That would be my suspicion because the program is so old. I know the front-end client is a lot newer, so it's possible they've changed, even if the old one was that way. But I know for a fact that my graphics card is actually in use when Moto is running. I should be able to... I should actually be able to see that in Task Manager. Yep, it is. It is using my GPU. Not very much. OBS is using the majority of it, but it is using my GPU. Where are your skulls? Oh yeah, I've got to finish the prediction. So believers, you get the points. Sorry about that. Thank you for reminding me, Albo. That is completely reasonable. Sorry, you weren't here last time, Sigma, and so we didn't have predictions, and I got out of the habit. So Sigma has opened another prediction for whether or not I will win this match. According to the bot, this person was last seen playing Oops All spells. So we've got 2/3 of Tron twice over and a Wurmcoil Engine. We have no cycling, and if our opponent is playing Oops All spells, as according to the bot, probably need to mulligan this. This is significantly better. Multiple towers, Tower Tron. We don't need a whole Tron of worth of towers. You can go ahead and predict. It's my bad that it wasn't finished on time, so if you want to use this knowledge now to enter your predictions, then I guess that's the most reasonable thing. It looks like my opponent is on Oops All spells, which means Ugin the Ineffable is not really that great of a card to have at the moment. Sure, Kano. Blame Sigma for the lack of fair prediction in the past, not gaslighting at all. Well, anything can happen. Alright, opponents go on Recross the Paths. This is Charbelcher. This is not Oops All Spells. This is Charbelcher. So opponent is going to stack the deck such that they get Reforge the Soul, which if if they do, I'm going to really regret not having a Warping Whale. We did beat Charbelcher last time. I still think that's like a 30-70 matchup. So I do not blame the people who are like 4 times as likely to doubt now. Betting on a windfall, not the safe bet. That's fair, I guess. Opponent is struggling to resolve this Recross the Paths. I never did actually look up if they changed how this card works on Magic. I think it still makes you put every single card back. I know it used to. So like you literally had to order all 50 whatever cards. So I don't want a Chromatic Sphere. I'm going to put that to the bottom. Thankfully, Clash does allow you to manipulate the top deck that appears. Alright, we untap. We draw Power Plant. So Cycle Star for green. This does mean my opponent is not drawing Reforge the Soul unless they put Turn Timber Symbiosis to the bottom, which I'm actually going to check the game log. They did. They put it on the bottom of their deck, so they're probably going to Miracle Reforge the Soul. With that being the case, do we still try and go for mine? Or do I play out the Chromatic Sphere? It does allow you to put all others on the bottom now? Well, that's good for people playing the deck. I put it at about a 90% chance my opponent Miracles Reforge the Soul, which, if I tutor for Urza's Mine, means there's less Urza's Mines in the deck. I still think I do it. I've lost the game at this point. Well, not with what I currently have. Oh, they can Infernal Plunge, that's what it is. I see, I see. Because they have just enough to do that. Okay, reasonable. Okay. So we'll bring in the Force of Vigors again. I think we will do the Chalice and Pithing Needle. I will regret it if I stick Karn and don't have them to wish for, of course. So Sundering Titan's coming out. Wurmcoil Engine is coming out. Ugin the Ineffable probably also needs to come out, but not 100% on that one. When they let you see the deck, check for sideboard cards. You think main decking Needle is fine? Well, we're going to find out. Yes, no, I remember 7-land Belcher. I actually made 7-land Oops All Spells using basically the current strategy for Oops All Spells. And I'm going to drop an Oblivion Stone, go down to 1, or go down to 2. Okay, I will play first. All right, we've got Natural Tron on the play. This is, well, not Natural Tron, but Expedition Map Tron. And that's about as good as we can hope for. Okay, opponent starts tap land. We draw a tower. So Expedition Map, we're going to go get tower. Pass the turn. Now opponent could just have like Rituals into Belcher and we lose. That is a possibility. Pact of the Titan. Infernal Plunge. Belcher. Okay. We draw a Force of Vigor. Play tower. Play Karn. They have Pact of Negation, so if they have Desperate Ritual, we lose. Making the Tron meme video, since you like it so much. Yes, I've been wanting to get back into making meme videos. I've just been juggling too much. So, alright, we lose. Opponent had the Belcher hand. So, the only thing that we could have had that would have made a difference there was if we had had Chalice in our opener or Pithing Needle, and we just didn't. That is by far the craziest Belcher start I have ever seen in Modern. So, Doubters. Doubters win. It's not a big win. Most people doubted. If we had a second green card, we would have won. No, because we drew Force on our turn, our second turn, and Belcher was already on the field. So they could activate Belcher in response to us. Or no, we could have forced the Belcher in response to the Ritual. You're right. We would have won with a second green card in hand. So I gotta learn to not doubt Raylan's assessment, because Raylan is right practically always. Hard mulligan to Needle. I don't know if that's correct, but alright, I'll open the prediction this time. For those of you that want to bet on round 3, you can bet your channel points. It's not my birthday. They just recross to have a force. Yeah, recross is a really good card in that deck, because it is effectively Doomsday, but you don't, like, it's Doomsday, but you get to Doomsday a 7-card hand. Well, that's not when you're right, obviously. You're wrong when you say that. Except the one day out of the year when you're right. Alright, moving on to round 3. Oh my gosh. The one day I say something nice about Raelin, now he's using it as leverage to troll me. Alright. Against a Lurrus deck, we definitely have better openers than this. Especially if this is Hammer. Which I think it is more likely that it is Hammer than it is not Hammer. So, we are going to 5 here. I'm going to 4. I should have stayed at 5. Alright, here we go. Is it Hammer or is it Rakdos Lurrus? Or Jund Lurrus, I mean. Uh-oh. Is it Hardened Scales? It's looking like Hardened Scales. Hardened Scales is not an unwinnable matchup, but it's right up there with Hammer. For the same reasons. Alright, it is, hey, look at that. We're gonna have natural turn 3 Tron! Now, will it be fast enough to deal with Scales? That's an entirely different story. But, there's a chance. There's a chance. Alright, opponent plays an Esper Sentinel into a Brushland. And a Zabaz. So I've actually seen this Hardened Scales list. I don't know the originator's name, but, it is a very good list from what I remember. So we are going to Sylvan Scrying. We will be allowing our opponent to draw a card. And we are going and getting Tower. Pass the turn. That's fair. In my experience, the current Modern format, the assumption is my opponent is playing a fast deck. And Lurrus generally indicates a faster deck. Or a deck that is lower to the ground anyway. So, looks like my opponent is going to be playing out a Ravager here. We will be dead very shortly unless we draw something very good. Please don't win while I'm away. Well... Alright, we're taking 2. We draw Karn Liberated. Alright, well... Go get him, Karn. Opponent gets to draw another card. Wurmcoil is better. No, it's not. My opponent has Ravager Ballista in their hand. We have to Karn down tick on the guy that duplicates your modular triggers, or we're dead next turn. To a land. It's that whole exponential growth model, as demonstrated through Magic the Gathering. Alright, so opponent untaps. They play a Saga. Also, Mav, welcome. How's it going? Okay, there's the Ravager. Now, I could completely see my opponent just stacking counters on the Walker. Like, sack Sentinel, sack Ravager. Or just sack Ravager to put counters on Walker and attack and kill Karn. That would not be an unreasonable play. They could attack and play Ballista on 1 and just shoot Karn. Okay. They attack Karn down to 1. Okay. Why? Oh, okay. I got that notification late. Well, I mean, you're always welcome to hang out here. Hangerback doesn't have modular, and Zabaz adds counters if they have modular. They picked up Ravager. We know they have Ravager. And each token this makes is a counter, and I was pretty sure that would be too big too quick. Now I could Sylvan Scrying here and go get Blast Zone, and I could Blast Zone on 1 to kill Esper Sentinel. That doesn't really do anything. So I think the first thing we gotta do is cycle this Chromatic Sphere. And I am gonna pay to prevent this. I don't want my opponent drawing any extra cards at the moment.
Happy birthday!
Speed Force Punch. It's not my birthday, but thank you. Alright, well, we have a tower, so we can play second tower, play Wurmcoil. Let's Sylvan Scrying. I'm gonna pick up Sanctum. Blast Zone is not gonna be that useful. They at least don't have any flyers at the moment, so Wurmcoil kind of locks up the ground a bit. Saga ticking up to 2. Opponent casts an Ancient Stirrings. Oh, crap. Okay, opponent has an Inkmoth Nexus now, so next turn, that's going to be what kills us, because they have an Ozolith. I did not tutor up a Blast Zone, which may or may not be a mistake. I don't care if they draw a card at this point, because we're dead anyway. I did want to do a cooking stream. I have not found a way to actually set that up. We get an Ugin. Ugin doesn't do anything, though. I guess I can shoot Ravager and force them to do something? I don't actually think this lets me stay alive. I think they put a counter on Hangerback, sack it to make 2 tokens, sack the tokens, sack the Sentinel, animate the Ink Moth, sack Ravager, put all the counters on the Ink Moth and the counters on the Ozolith, and then we just die. That meme's been dead for over 10 years. Okay. I mean, yeah, but I don't think it matters really. Unless they just... It doesn't math. That's not lethal. Did opponent mess up? I think my opponent messed up. I'm not sure why they didn't just stack everything on Ink Moth. Thanks, Mom. It's not my birthday, but thank you for the well wishes. Thanks for stopping in. Oh. If a modular triggered ability would put 1 or more 1/1 counters... But this is not a modular triggered ability. Oh, they just have a second Ravager. Never mind. Never mind. We were dead in a half. Like, it's just... Alright, Force of Vigor is coming in. There's some notion that maybe I should have Chalice in the main deck and Pithing Needle in the main deck. Once again, I don't think that is the correct thing to do. I'm going to drop a Wurmcoil Engine, and I'm going to drop a Sundering Titan. Ugin does matter because they do play a couple of colored permanents. They have Hardened Scales, and they do have the 1/1 that draws them cards. Veil for Force? No, I don't think so. But, like, if my opponent is casting Luris, me drawing a single card almost certainly doesn't matter. Now, it being a green card for Force of Vigor might be fine, but I think there is enough green cards in the deck with 10 total. It would be a different argument entirely if I was playing the full playset of Force. Okay, we'll play first. Have you considered Cursed Totem in the sideboard? Which card is Cursed Totem again? Is that the Torpor Orb for all permanents? Activated abilities of creatures can't be activated. I have not actually considered that as a sideboard card. That's fair, Albo. That's a fair assessment. I mean, I did just mulligan into a green card in Force, but no lands. We are going to 5. I think we keep this because we have so many cantrips, but... Because, like, if I go to 4 and get a Force of Vigor and a green card, it's like I'm keeping a 2-card hand, or a 3-card hand. We will be putting back Karn and Chromatic Sphere, leading on Tower and playing Star. Okay, opponent leads on Razor Verge Thicket into Ancient Stirrings. Getting Urza's Saga. We untap. We draw Ulamog, which is kind of early. We draw Ugin. I don't think I'm going to cast this Sylvan Scrying yet. We draw Karn Great Creator. Okay. Karn Great Creator does do a huge amount of work against our opponent's deck. Quintist, welcome. How's it going? Here from the YouTube. Love Tron. Love your content. Keep doing what you're doing. Well, I will. So, thanks for tuning in. Good to have you. Opponent does play their Urza Saga, cast an Ancient Stirrings. They get Zabaz. Okay. They play them. They play a Welding Jar. We untap. We draw Mine. Play Mine. And we're going to go ahead and Sylvan Scrying for Power Plant. Okay. Pass the turn. And I think the game plan right now is we're going to be playing Karn Great Creator and upticking on Welding Jar. Oh yeah, I should have just played the Power Plant to hide the fact that I was going to have Tron this turn. Okay, we have 8 mana. I think Karn uptick is correct. Just double checking to make sure that there's nothing I can wish for that would be better. I guess I can play Karn first because my opponent has to decide what they're going to do with Ravager before anything else. Getting Ballista is not a bad idea. Okay. Opponent can go get like a Pithing Needle off of Saga. We will be playing Ulamog next turn. We can't destroy one of their lands. None of their lands are artifacts. I don't have an Engineered Explosives. Ensnaring Bridge doesn't ensnare anything. I think upticking is safer. So I'm going to go with that. Because Ballista is not a bad play, but I'm pretty sure my opponent is getting a Pithing Needle here. Okay, they're going to make a Construct token. Oh, they're getting a second Zabaz. That's interesting. And they legend rule it. That is not something I considered. Very sneaky. That does give them just enough power to attack and kill Karn. Hey, one Neokia? I can't read the color that's in on my screen. I'm having trouble reading, but thanks for tuning in. It's good to have you. Glad you've been enjoying the YouTube content. So I think I just play Ulamog and target Ravager Zabaz. My opponent's going to stack up the Construct token, but then I have a 10/10 Indestructible. We can follow this up with Karn. And we want to take out Zabaz because Zabaz has flying. I think that's incorrect. They should have put the counters on Ravager and then sacked Ravager to itself. Because that gets you 2 counters through Hardened skills. Although it might be the same with the way that this ability is stacked. I don't think it actually matters. But they didn't let the ability resolve, so they're not getting the full amount of counters that they should have had. So opponent missed 1, 2... Yeah, they missed 2 counters. Pass the turn. I mean, if they have Path, that would be bad, but I don't think they play Path anymore. I think if they're playing anything, they're probably playing Prismatic Ending. They lead on an Ancient Stirrings. They get an Arcbound Worker. They play Arcbound Worker. We untap. We draw Sylvan Scrying. Now I can Sylvan Scrying for Blast Zone, take out Arcbound Worker and Hardened Scales, but I think... Is that safer? They have 2 cards in hand. If they draw land, Karn the Construct, and they're done. Just to show off your dice. Yeah, no kidding. I'm trying to think if there's a way that they can come back next turn for like an OTK. Because the deck is really tricky with how many counters it can make. They do only have 2 cards in hand. I can attack with Ulamog first, but they would just block. Alright, play Karn. Alright, they just scoop. That works. Works for me. No adjustments, let's run it back. Ballista, Ravager, and an Ozolith, they can make it. I was thinking like Land, Ballista, Ravager might do it, because they have a Hardened Scales on board. But if they give me another turn, I could just go get Blast Zone and take out all the 1-drops. So it had to be something they could do that turn. And I wasn't sure that 2 cards was enough to do it. But thanks for the article, by the way, Albo. I appreciate that. I will go through it later. We do have a Karn Great Creator. We do have a couple of Ancient Stirrings and a single Chromatic Star. We do have 2 lands, and we are on the draw. I think we can do better in a lot of hands of 6 than that hand of 7. This is very close. I will be going to 5, though. Alright, I'm keeping 5. Oblivion Stone and Karn Liberated going away. Let's hope that this Great Creator can get there. Okay, opponent leads with Ancient Stirrings, which does mean that they're not going to have a hyper-fast combo, though they still may have a very fast combo. We draw a Power Plant, so play mine, pass the turn. Opponent's probably going to play Inkmoth Nexus this turn, just so it doesn't have Summoning Sickness at any point. Okay, Hangerback Walker, and a Welding Jar. We draw Ancient Stirrings, so we can either play Power Plant and pray for Tron, or we can play Forest and try and get Tower, which would be what we're doing next turn. Next turn, we can Ancient Stirrings. If I play the Forest this turn, I can Ancient Stirrings next turn. But we don't have anything cheap enough to matter brought into the deck that is colorless. So it would effectively only be a land. I think playing Power Plant this turn is actually correct. It may not be, but I think it is. Because if we draw a Tower, we should be good. If we don't, then we don't. We still have to tutor for it somehow. Okay. Opponent plays a Brushland. They do have a Ravager. I think we need to draw a Force or Tower, so that's 6 out of 53. Okay, we get a Chromatic Star. Chromatic Star does give us 1 extra redraw to hit a Tower to play Karn. It also gives us an extra redraw for Force. Okay, well, Ancient Stirrings for Tower. We did find it, but I don't think this is enough. Like, I can threaten Warping Whale here, but opponent hasn't seen it. They probably don't think I have it. And as soon as they have an Ozolith or a Hardened Scales, they're just going to go for it. Nice, Sissia, nice. Okay, opponent plays a Forest. Well, the fact that they're not Windmill Slamming it means they probably don't have it, which means we do stand a chance. Okay, so they're going with an Ancient Stirrings here. Did they reveal Ravager to that? They did reveal Ravager, okay. Probably counting. Yeah, there is a lot of math. A lot of math involved in that. So they attack us for 1 with Inkmoth. Take 1 Infect. And then opponent plays Pithing Needle. So they're probably going to Pithing Needle Karn Great Creator. They Pithing Needle Karn Liberated. Alright. We draw Blast Zone. So what I can do is... I can play my Karn Great Creator. I can Wish for Pithing Needle, and I could Pithing Needle Ravager, or I could Pithing Needle Inkmoth. I could Karn Uptick, and they would have trouble dealing with that, because we know one of the 2 cards in their hand is Ravager. Needle on Inkmoth seems like the choice. I mean, really, I kind of want to Needle the Ravager, because that's how they're going to stack the counters on the Inkmoth. Karn already stops the counters? Yeah, but Karn's not going to live indefinitely. I mean, so I can play Karn, uptick him, he'll go to 6 counters. They can swing a maximum of 4 at him. He would go to 2. We would get another draw. We could potentially Blast Zone. We could Wish at that point. The alternative is I can play Karn and I can Wish for Walking Ballista. And that would not be bad. Because then I have a Walking Ballista that can either ping the Ravager or ping the Inkmoth while Karn is on the battlefield. And I mean, that sounds pretty good. So I think I might do that. So we're going to play Sanctum. Play Karn. Opponent has to do whatever they're going to do with Ravager now. Trinisphere makes them not even be able to play their turn. No. I don't even think I have a Trinisphere in the sideboard here. No, in this particular sideboard I do not have Trinisphere. But I don't think it would help here. Okay. Opponent is increasing the size of Ravager. I mean, they have 5 counters on board. They can attack for a 6th, so we have to Wish here now. And Walking Ballista is really the only thing that makes sense. So play Walking Ballista. Okay, opponent plays a Spire of Industry. Yeah, exactly. So they can't guarantee the kill on Karn, but they can take him to 1. If I'm willing to block with Ballista. And even if he just buys me that turn, that should actually be enough for me to hopefully draw something else. I can't imagine they don't attack him. Opponent fires up Inkmoth. Kill Inkmoth? Okay, cool, thanks. I mean, that makes my job easier. So they attack Karn a lot. They might have a redundant Inkmoth. We'll ping our opponent. Karn will take 2 and go to 1. They play their other Ravager. We untap. We draw Chromatic Star. So play Chromatic Star. I could animate it as a blocker, but that doesn't do anything, so cycle it for green. We get an Oblivion Stone. Oblivion Stone does stuff. I mean, it kills Karn, but it does stuff. They don't have any non-land... Or they don't have any land creatures right now. So the concern is they somehow get enough counters post attack phase, hit Karn, then like stack a Ballista for lethal. Don't animate O-Stone. I don't plan to animate O-Stone. I could just play it and activate it now. But that seems incorrect as well. I'm going to uptick Karn. We'll play out the Forest, play the Oblivion Stone. Then we'll pass. The problem is they still get to modular onto the Thopters. They swing everything at Karn. So Karn dies. They play a Plains. They do not put Luris into their hand. We draw an Ancient Stirrings. So cast an Ancient Stirrings. We get a Karn Liberated. Rest of the bottom. Play Blast Zone. Pass the turn. Opponent draws a card. They go to combat. They swing everything at us. So we're going to blow up the world. This gives them many Thopters. We could take 7. That might have been the play. I might have been thinking about this wrong. Because my opponent's going to have a crap load of Thopters now. When in reality, I could have just like played Karn and down-ticked on Hangerback or something. Okay. This opponent has a ton of Thopters that we can't Blast Zone because Blast Zone starts on 1 and not 0. Opponent plays an Esper Sentinel. Then passes. We untap. We draw Great Creator. So if I play Great Creator, I have 6 mana left. I only have 1 green mana. I cannot get enough to... I can't, like, empty my hand out for... I do have an O-Stone, but I can't... I can wish for the O-Stone, but I can't wish for it and activate it. Sylvan Scrying for Tower first. That nets 1 mana. Let's put this over here so people can see it. I can sack Sanctum if I play Karn. Now, what I get out of Sanctum, I'm not really sure. It'd have to be an Ugin, or it'd have to be an Ulamog or a Wurmcoil. Do we have anything in exile? We do not. I don't have a relic in the sideboard either. I think we do Sylvan Scrying for a tower, though. Math. I will pay to prevent the draw. Get another tower. Play the tower. Play Karn. I could wish for Mystic Forge. It doesn't do anything right now, but it would be nice to be able to play cards off the top of my deck. I think we got to get O-Stone. I could technically empty my hand for Bridge, but only as long as I don't draw another threat. This is better if I draw another. Play another Oblivion Stone, pass the turn. And there's a decent chance that I still die. Like, post-combat, if my opponent has Ravager number 3 into Walking Ballista, I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Hey! Opponent scoops. We're 2-1. I'm pretty sure... Wow, almost nobody bet on me to win that. So, Believers. Sissia. Oh my goodness. Yonderly, welcome. It's not my birthday, but good to have you. Sissia's a believer. Sissia just won a ton of channel points. Why did he...
Emotional, damn it!
Why did he scoop? He had Luris. People forget they have companions. I don't know. It's that 8th card in hand. So we will be moving on to round 4 here. I'm going to go ahead and start another prediction. The guy owes you 1,000 points. Oh, I could believe it. I honestly think that my opponent threw that game a couple of times, because there were times where I was like calling out lines that I would have been dead to, and opponent just played in a way that didn't seem to make sense. The universe is just. Philosophic Proposition by Raelin. I have myself a seltzer water. This is a quick league. I might have time for a second league. Silver, if you think you're unlucky, never gamble. Alright, round 4. Enchantress League Consolation Prize. I don't really feel like playing Enchantress right now. Well, now everybody's betting on Believe, and nobody's betting against me. Yeah, thanks, Sigma. Kano and colleagues. Tentative Orch, how's it going? Good to have you. Oh, so Silver put in like 100 points, like hoping to scoop up everything in the event that I lose, and Sigma just like completely outbets him on the same side, so he's gonna take it all. That's really funny. We are on the draw. This is not the greatest hand on the draw. I think we do have better 6s. This is one of them. We will be keeping this, and I think I'm going to put back... I can either keep Wurmcoil and Karn to have like a diversified set of threats, or I can put back Karn, or I can put back a Wurmcoil and just have double Karn. Enjoy alliteration. So with streamers, they say their name in a word that groups their viewers that starts with the same letter as their name. I do really enjoy alliteration. I just regret picking K to do it. I'm going to put back, I think I'm going to put back the Wurmcoil Engine. I think double Karn is stronger against a deck not revealing Luris. Kano and company. Opponent leads on Scalding Tarn. We draw another forest. Play mine. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Flooded Strand. Passes. Cracks Flooded Strand on our upkeep. So this is probably for an ice. They're going to like ice our Urza's Mine or something. Like, because they could be the Cascade deck. They could be Control. They could be Is It Murktide? Kano's Punts Incorporated, or KPI for short. Okay, this is looking like Cascade. This is looking like an ice. Oh, wow. I was right the first time. Now, let's see what we draw. Draw Karn, Great Creator. I think we've got to go for Tower to leave ourselves the option of potentially drawing Power Plant. Karn Liberated is not that great versus the Cascade deck, because it's black and white and they couldn't find it. It did seem early to ice, like, especially seeing a Tron land. This is telling me it's probably a fast Cascade, because generally you would ice on turn 3 to stop your opponent from actually having Tron mana that turn, but... Oh, it's just a main deck Blood Moon. Well, it's a good thing I've drawn all my forests. We draw a Chromatic Star, play a forest. Ancient Stirring. I guess a redundant Karn Great Creator is probably not bad. A land is also fine. I think I'm going to take the redundant Karn, because there's a good chance my opponent just has counter spells. We'll play Chromatic Star past the turn. They do nothing. We draw Power Plant. Play Power Plant. Play Karn. Ugin gets rid of Moon. I mean, it does, but we're also 4 lands away from an Ugin. Now, the question is, do they have a Lightning Bolt, or do they have Unholy Heat? I'm going to animate the Star. Chalice on 0. Chalice on 0 might have been more reasonable. I think my opponent has a counterspell or a Violent Outburst. Oh, they can't Violent Outburst, excuse me. Okay, they flash Brazen Borrower. Classic Blood Moon into nothing strategy. Jamatron, I don't know. This might be the Blood Moon into Lightning Bolt strategy. Or Blood Moon into Stomp or something like that. So they attack Karn. Karn goes to 3. They play a Wooded Foothills. And then they do nothing. Okay, so we untap and draw Sylvan Scrying. Okay, this time I am going to wish for Chalice and put it on 0. Okay, let's go ahead and Sylvan Scrying. Let's get a redundant tower at this juncture. Pass the turn. Now it's Ballista since they don't have the Cascade. That's reasonable. I think my opponent played Blood Moon too quickly. I think that's what ended up happening here. They were like, Tron, Blood Moon! Like, they attack our face. They do not attack Karn. Second Blood Moon. Alright. We continue to draw lands. They really hate Tron, it's true. Guess we'll animate Chromatic Star. Play a Mine. Play another Karn. Keep the new one. They also do, yeah. Like, the only thing that Blood Moon does to beat Tron is it gives you time. So, like, if you have a fast clock, like a Delver of Secrets, or a Ragavan or something like that, and then you play Blood Moon, it's fantastic. If you just rush out of Blood Moon against Tron, you lose. Like, most of the time. So, Blood Moon versus Eldrazi Tron? Yeah. Blood Moon versus Eldrazi Tron is a lot better generally because they can't find their basic wastes as easily as we can find forests or just draw them. Because Eldrazi Tron's mana base generally is really greedy. But when it goes to combat, they're going to attack Karn. Sure. Ping Brazen Borrower. Keep Karn alive. See what else they do. Are they going to double fire Karn? Fire 1 to take him down to 1. They play a third Blood Moon. Alright, we've hit Tron redundancy. I'm going to animate Chromatic Star again. 5 cards in hand, no land. Yeah. So my plan now is I'm just going to play Karn Liberateds and start taking out islands. Then they animate their Blood Moons and go for the Blood Moon beatdown. Ah, yes. How could I have ever foreseen that coming? Like, this is why Blood Moon is not that great versus Tron. Oh, opponent has Fury. Okay, so they can kill one, but not the other. What did they evoke? Violent Outburst. This is the Cascade deck. They take Great Creator down to 1, and they kill Karn Liberated. Pitching Violent Outburst. We untap. We draw Expedition Map. Play a Forest. Animate Star. Play another Karn Liberated. Alright, opponent gets crushed under the weight of 2 Karn Liberated. Excuse me. That was a really disgusting noise I just made. I apologize. So Force of Vigor, Veil of Summer in. What comes out? I don't think they buy anything back from their grave, and the cycling from Relic is not as necessary. Wurmcoil is still kind of good. Oblivion Stone's still kind of good. Ugin the Ineffable can still take out like a Blood Moon. I actually think Karn Liberated might be our worst Planeswalker against them, or like our worst threat. But I think I'm still going to drop like a Wurmcoil. I'm going to drop a Wurmcoil and a Karn. Sundering Titan? Yeah, Sundering Titan. Actually, I think Sundering Titan's just a little bit worse than Karn. Alright. Go ahead and win this match, Kano. I see the doubt symbol next to your name. That's funny. Alright, well, this will be a turn 3 Tron, barring a Blood Moon. I am going to keep this. Opponent leads on Flooded Strand, passes. We draw a tower, play Power Plant, play Expedition Map. This would be funny if they forced this. Okay? Silver's cheering because of his bad luck. Oh, is this some, like, reverse universe psychology? So they yeeted the Expedition map back to our hand. So we are going to play Tower, and then we'll just, I think, play 2 maps. Pass the turn. They have Force of Vigor pitching Shardless Agent, okay? Now we could really put the hurt on them if we just happen to draw, like, Urza's Mine. Just, like, really make them sad. Oh, they may not even have the 3rd land. Oh, they do, okay. Okay. But they gave up Shardless Agent for this, so they might have another Shardless Agent. Okay, 2nd Shardless Agent. This is going to be a Rhinos. Okay, so they put 10 power on the board. Alright, show me the Urza's Mine. Dang, close. So in this scenario, we're going to play the Tower. We're going to play the Oblivion Stone. Unfortunately, unless we draw Power Plant, we can't activate Oblivion Stone. So this will go to game 3. You could make the argument that I played into Force of Vigor by playing 2 Expedition maps. I would have played into a 2nd Brazen Borrower by only playing 1. So it's kind of, you know, whichever one they had was the one that was I was going to play into, basically. Opponent plays a Breeding Pool tapped and passes. We do not draw a Urza's Mine, but we do have a Power Plant. So I can animate O-Stone to block. That is the extent of what I am capable of doing. Pass the turn. If they have a 2nd Brazen Borrower, we're dead. Oh, never mind. We're just dead to Brazen Borrower. The first one. The one they can cast out of exile. The one that I completely forgot about. Right? Because that's 3, 5, 9, and 1 tramples over for 10. So if they swing everything at us, we lose. If for some reason they don't. Okay. Unfortunate. Run it back. Alright, we'll play first. We have 2/3 of Tron, a Force of Vigor. So this is good if they try and go the Blood Moon route. I think this hand is reasonable. I'm actually going to keep this. You blame me for running my mouth. About what? Alright. Lead on Power Plant. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Stomping Ground tapped. We draw another Forest. Play Tower. Pass the turn. Come on, Urza's Mine. Opponent plays a Misty. Oh wow, no one is bet doubt. Looks like we're getting iced here. Which we could still play Karn Great Creator if we get iced. If we draw Urza's Mine. Okay. We draw Ancient Stirrings. Alright, play a Forest. We will cast Ancient Stirrings because we were trying to hit Urza's Mine. We can hardcast Force of Vigor, if necessary. We did not hit Urza's Mine, so we are going to take Chromatic Star. Redundant Tron lands at this point don't matter that much. We're just trying to get to Tron. I'm not even going to try and pronounce that, but I know what you're riffing off of there, Six Sigma. Okay, opponent plays a Forest. We untap. Hey, we drew the Mine. Play the Mine. Play Ugin. Opponent immediately forces pitching Force of Negation to Force of Negation. Okay. I guess I should have cycled to try and hit Veil. Okay, play an Expedition map. Pass the turn. This opponent is going to Violent Outburst. Okay, here come the Rhinos. Okay, they go to combat. They're going to attack us for 8. Okay. They take 8 and go to 12. They play a land. We untap. We draw an Oblivion Stone. Let's see. So if I play a land, play Karn... Let me think about this. We have two options. We can either play Oblivion Stone, hope they don't counter it, and then hope that we have the chance to activate it. Or we can play Karn, wish for Ensnaring Bridge, and play out a land so they can't attack. And I think Albo is right here. I think playing Oblivion Stone first matters more because Karn into Bridge doesn't work if they have a Brazen Borrower. It doesn't work if they have a Force of Vigor, whereas if they have a Force of Vigor, a Brazen Borrower into O-Stone, we just blow up the world anyway. So, we are going to sack map, get a tower, play Oblivion Stone. Okay, it resolves. Opponent's turn. I don't really want to go into double stomp range, so I think I am going to activate this during combat. Okay. We draw another Karn. So play a forest. Play Karn. And I think if this Karn resolves, I'm probably going to go get Sundering Titan. Because the odds that they have a counterspell that actually affects this is very little. They can Cascade in response. We have a gigantic blocker, and we take out all their mana. Okay. So the worst case scenario is opponent Cascades here into Rhinos, and then untaps, ices Sundering Titan, and kills Karn, hits us for 4, takes us to 8. But, like, we're still fine in that situation. Okay, opponent untaps. They could also, like, Brazen Borrower bounce. But if they did that, we would take out their lands. Okay, we draw a map. So now the question is, where do we go from here? I could get a Mystic Forge and start playing stuff off the top of my deck. I do wish I had a Trinisphere. Trinisphere here would be actually really great. I could try and put Chalice on 2 to stop both ice and... We could force the Titan in some scenarios. Yeah, and in some scenarios, forcing the Titan may be correct. I could just go try and get a big Walking Ballista. I do have an Ensnaring Bridge. Let's see. How much mana do I currently have? 10, 12. I could get a Wurmcoil Engine. Wurmcoil Engine's not bad. I think I am going to go get a Wurmcoil Engine, because I have another Karn that I can cast. Let's start by mapping for another tower. Play the tower. Play Wurmcoil. Then I will play a second Karn. Keep the new one. And I'm going to wish for Chalice, and I think I'm going to put Chalice on 0. Okay, now I'll pass. Sorry that took so long to decide. Opponent untaps. They play a Misty. Then they pass. We untap. We draw Ancient Stirrings. Go to combat. Attack for 6 with lifelink. And opponent scoops. Alright, believers. Win the channel points. We could try to sneak a needle in for the lands. I was actually thinking about doing that. I didn't think it would work. And if I had the ability to Force of Vigor my own Titan, there was, like, that would have been a better play. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and open up one more prediction for the final round. Well, we've got a treasure chest on the line. Or we now have a treasure chest guaranteed. Now the question is, can we go 4-1? Down to 85k. Alright, round 5, here we go. I would like to play first. This is not a good hand versus most decks. This is approximately the same level. I think I am going to try and go to 5 here. This is not unreasonable. I mean, if the bot's correct and my opponent was seen playing Amulet Titan, I need a much faster hand than this anyway. Well, it won't be fast, but I don't want to go to 4. So, play mine, play Star, pass the turn. Opponent leads on Radiant Fountain into Amulet of Vigor, so this is Amulet Titan. We draw Oblivion Stone. We draw Forest. Ancient Stirring. We do hit a power plant. Okay, put them to the bottom in any order. Play power plant, play sphere. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Groll Turf. Untaps it, floats mana. Plays Azusa. Floats a bunch more mana. And has a Dryad now. Okay. We untap. We draw a tower because there is no god. I'm kidding. Play Karn. We gotta take out Dryad, right? Like, what do we take out here? Opponent has 3 cards in hand, so upticking on their hand does nothing. We know they have a Groll Turf in hand. That's about it. Taking out Dryad means no Valakut without another Dryad. Taking out Valakut means no Valakut until they tutor out the other one. Oblivion Stone, we don't have enough mana to play and activate, unfortunately. I could take out Amulet, and then there's no... They have a Groll Turf in hand, Albo. I think it's either Amulet or Dryad that we have to take out. And if I take out the Amulet, it means they can play like their all the stuff in their hand. Brendan 12398, thank you for following. Dryad's gotta go. Alright, we'll take out Dryad. But I'm gonna get prime timed, and I'm gonna be sad. Okay, opponent plays Groll Turf, untaps it, picks up Radiant Fountain. You can only see a black screen? That's not normal. Everybody else seems to be doing just fine. I'm not getting any dropped frames on my side. Opponent may have just made a mistake, not making multiple green mana. We'll see. If that is the case, this is hilarious. Thought you were just talking us through the game. So they're holding a Radiant Fountain. That's all we know. He has a Selesnya Sanctuary. And this one he's picking back up. Oh joy. Here it comes. Well, I mean, Karn's gonna die here. I think they can attack us for 16 if they attack and get Vesuva and another bounce land, because they can Sun Home to deal a bunch of damage to us. So Karn is being attacked by Azusa, and Primetime is attacking us. They just untapped Talaria West. They're doing something else with the mana. Okay. So they're going to transmute Talaria West. Hang on a sec. Okay, so I apologize because my voice is probably going to get cut off at the end of my sentences, but the water softener decided to run and it's like right behind my desktop, so I'm just going to have to talk. And it's not my computer kicking into overdrive now. Okay, so we drew an Urza's Mine. I think what we do is we cycle Chromatic Sphere here to start and just see what we draw. Expedition map. I cannot downtick Karn, unfortunately. Alright, hang on. You're a good boy. Speed Force Punch says you're a good boy. Okay, I think I've got to play O-Stone here and uptick Karn on my opponent's hand. I think activating Oblivion Stone on our opponent's upkeep is safer, but like we're still gonna get hit with a Primeval Titan. I need to do it before they have the opportunity to play lands and generate mana to do stuff. I guess if I activate it now on my turn, I can play out Expedition Map. Yeah, there's not that much difference. This does let me tutor for a tower before I draw, so that I could potentially play an Ulamog if I were to draw an Ulamog or an Ugin. When it casts a Summoner's Pact. You know they're holding Radiant Fountain, Valakut. They get Primeval Titan. So they can play Primeval Titan and give it haste. Oh, never mind. They didn't have quite enough mana to do that. They had a Radiant Fountain. Why didn't they play a Radiant Fountain? Okay, they just got it a different way. They're going to hit us for 8. We're going to go to 4. Get a Saga and a Growth Chamber. We're going to pick up Talaria West. No, they picked up... What did they pick up? Crumbling Vestige. Okay, they play a Grazer. Putting in a Groll Turf. Picking up Crumbling Vestige. Okay. On our upkeep, we're going to go get Tower. And we draw Sylvan Scrying. Okay. So Force of Vigor's coming in. Probably Relic of Progenitus is not going to stay in the deck. I don't really buy anything back for the grave. Does Amulet Titan still play Pact of Negation? I imagine it's still like a singleton, right? And it's not very common that they tutor for it, because generally their proactive game plan is way better. Titan is a 6/6, yes, but Slayer Stronghold gives it 2 extra attack. Very unlikely. Okay. There's no reason to bring in Veil then. So I'm going to drop, I guess just the relics. Alright, let's run it back. Would like to play first. This is very close to a turn 3 Titan. Or turn 3 Karn, I mean, so we're going to keep this. End of 7 is pretty decent. We do have a single redraw. Unfortunately, we don't have like an Ancient Stirrings to go along with it. I wish we did. Okay, so lead on mine, play Chromatic Sphere. Pass the turn. Opponent did mulligan to 5, which does give us a little bit of hope. They lead on Saga into Amulet. We untap and draw Sylvan Scrying, so crack for green, play Tower. Sylvan Scrying, let's go get Power Plant. Pass the turn. Opponent untaps, Saga ticks up to 2. They play a second Saga. We untap and draw Blast Zone. So, play Power Plant. Karn Liberated. Take out the Saga with 2 counters, pass the turn. Now this Saga ticks up to 2 counters. They play a Growth Chamber. Untap it. Pick up Growth Chamber. Play Dryad. Then play Valakut. Untap it. Pass. Draw Ancient Stirrings. So I can play Tower. I think I'm going to Ugin downtick X3. Karn another land. Actually, they only have 3 cards in hand. Saga is going to sack itself next turn. They will probably get a redundant Amulet. I think the play is still Ugin. Kill Dryad, uptick Karn. Yeah, kill Dryad with Ugin, yeah. Yeah, I think that's right. -3. They can only play 1 land next turn. They're going to get a second Amulet. That's going to let them untap Roll Turf twice. Or Simic Growth Chamber twice. I think because I'm holding this Karn, I'm actually going to downtick. And I'm going to take out Valakut. Because they're going to go get a second Amulet, or they're going to go get a Pithing Needle, then we're going to Blast Zone their Amulets away, and then we're going to play Karn Great Creator. I think this is actually safest. Because with them having potentially 5 mana, and like if they play another Dryad, and then they could get to 6 mana, they can play Primeval Titan, and that might be enough. Because they would be able to replay that land twice. They play Growth Chamber, then get up to 5 mana. They do only have 3 cards in hand. They're going to Summoner's Pact. So they're going all in trying to kill us this turn. Zeusa. Okay. So they can get up to 10 mana. How can they pay for Pact? I don't know if they can or not. They might be banking on killing us, which might be possible. They transmute Talaria West. They get a second Summoner's Pact. Summoner's Pact for Titan. So they're going to have to get Garrison and Slayer Stronghold. But then they have to and then they pick up Slayer Stronghold. And if they get Vesuva Boros Garrison, that's double strike for 20 damage. That's so stupid. So yeah, I had to downtick on the Saga. Unless they're attacking Ugin for some reason. No, they're not. Opponent understood. It was better to take Amulet, or it was better to hit Saga with Karn. They had very specifically the cards they needed to make that work. So, it's very unfortunate. It's kind of disheartening, but we do get a treasure chest out of the deal. We do get our entry back, so let's go ahead and open our treasure chest, see what we earned. We get 5 play points, and Infernal Tutor, and Supreme Phantom. If I took away Saga, they couldn't add mana, and they wouldn't have had the second Amulet. So, that's what I should have done. So, Amulet as a deck is... So, for a very, very long time, Amulet as a deck was, like, the best deck. The problem was not everybody could pilot Amulet because of lines like what you just saw. It takes a lot of experience with the deck in knowing what tools you have access to and what tools you can get access to win. And with something like Saga, now being in addition to the deck, like an additional tutor. It's a broken land in a deck that plays a bunch of broken lands and broken land interactions. Like, the deck is really good and really strong. And it's also a deck that, like, Tron has a very difficult time dealing with. But no, if I had actually fully known and thought out what possible line they could have, I made the mistake. But I don't think a lot of people actually would have taken the winning line, because there was 3 or 4 things I was trying to decide on there. So he gets crushed by Grixis Death Shadow. That's the dominant deck in the meta. I have not seen a Death Shadow player in months. Not Grixis anyway. I've seen like Rakdos, but I've not seen Grixis Death Shadow. The top deck right now is definitely Hammer. I think by like number of tournament wins. Is super common. Is everybody else playing against that deck except me? Because I have not run into Grixis Dress Down Shadow. I have run into a lot of Is It Murktide, and I've run into a ton of Hammer, but I have not played a lot of Grixis Shadow. I play a lot of Modern, that's all. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's not the top deck. I'm just like, I haven't seen one in months. Okay, alright, I'm wrong. That's fine. That's okay. I'm just saying, I've not played against a Grixis Death Shadow player in I don't know how long. If it's the top deck right now, that's news to me. 3 of your last 10 matches? Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, I learned something. So, for the people on the recording, if you like this content, you want to see more of it, please leave a like, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined, and remember, you can follow me on Twitch. Same username over there as you find me on here. Stream Wednesdays in the afternoon and Sundays. Now I feel confident making that disclaimer. So maybe it's always in the X and O bracket. That's what we call a left-handed compliment or a left-handed insult. I'm not sure. And of course, if I do have a Discord, link should be in the description of the YouTube video and on my Twitch page, which is a lot like Twitch chat, but every single day of the week, and generally a bit more tame, actually. So, all right, you're all wonderful human beings, and I thank you all for watching.